we're moving on to the third paragraph here, and we're following up on our pitch for being present focused with a reminder to be positive focused. And what does that mean? That does not mean pushing away negative moments. We still want you to be present focused and notice the fluctuations of positive and negative. However, the negativity bias may be influencing you to give more attention and more importance to the negative moments compared to the positive moment. And that's why we say consciously choose to give more attention to positive moments as they occur, noticing what is happening and how you are feeling. It requires a conscious choice because of that pesky negativity bias for some of us, and for me included. And I'm going to tell you a little story that happened to me, I think yesterday. I was walking in the park near my house. I live in Portland, Oregon, and I live near Washington Park, which is the urban end of Forest Park, which is a 33-mile long, beautiful trail park. So in Washington Park, I was walking and I saw two deer. I saw a mother deer and a baby deer, and they were in the ferns and got up and turned to look at me. And I saw their big, adorable ears and our eyes connected, their beautiful, innocent eyes. And then they turned and walked away from me on the upper trail. I was on a lower trail. Okay, so that was a moment that was majestic and stirring. It was a lovely moment. And a little while after that happened, my mind started to worry about the deer. My mind introduced questions such as, aren't they too close to the busy avenues? And do they have enough to eat? And is there enough territory for them here? And my mind started mapping out my little part of Washington Park and its connection to the bigger Forest Park. And I thought, oh dear, oh no, the connection's very tenuous, the space is very small. And while I was doing that, I felt like I was doing something important. Like it felt important to intellectualize about the space that deer need. Never mind, I don't know anything about it. It felt helpful to worry, and it was I'm suffering basically. Okay, so because of this practice and because of my relationship with Gerald Forster, I had a chance to revisit the choice that I had made to focus on the peril the deer may be in my imagination, and pull my attention back to that moment when two beautiful natural creatures, mother and fawn, stood some few yards away from me and our eyes connected, and it was sublime. I could consciously choose to give more of my attention and give more assignment of importance to what actually happened and to how I was actually feeling. And that turned out to be a really, really good choice for me. So to read what's in the parentheses here, to facilitate this, you might try saying to yourself, this is a positive moment, or I am noticing positive feelings. And I do that sometimes as I'm going along through my day, so that I will stop just for a minute and give a little bit more attention as things are racing by. And it has a positive impact on me, that I do notice it more, that the feelings are sort of amplified by that attention. So again, this is not to say that you should stop doing present moment focus, or that your feeling ratios should change. Everybody just goes up and down, up and down, up and down. The point of it is that unless you are consciously giving more attention to those positive moments, the negativity bias is probably depleting them. Okay, Gerald, do you have anything else to add about this consciously choose to
Well,
give
I
more
did.
attention?
I would like to say a little more about that, and in so doing, I'll be talking about the bottom line here. Pay attention to how present moment awareness influences your feelings, while I'm also talking about the bigger topic that you raise.
All right, good.
And so I think what's my summary of this, what we're trying to say here, is that the most important thing is to be in the present moment and first that you just that's the best way to be. Don't have your mind up on things about the past or future that are not focused on the present moment. So that get in the present moment as much as you can whenever you can, and be that. So do that. Now the question comes, after you're in the present moment, are you feeling positive or are you feeling negative? And of course, at first you may not be able to really immediately be aware of that, but I think that we want you to try to be more aware as positive or negative. And then everybody has some natural predispositions that they come with to this present moment, and some people are going to be say we're in the present moment, but then there's always going to be the question about, do I feel positive or negative? And some people will have a little bit of predisposition, has the negativity bias. Research shows us that a lot of people will be focused in the present, but it'll be negative, or it will soon be negative. And in other people, maybe will have a predisposition to be more positive. I think between Jennifer and I, she claims that she is more likely to be in the negative and more often, and I'm pretty aware that I'm more likely to be in the positive. But everybody's going to have some of each, and what we're trying to do is to get you to move toward decreasing the focus on the negativity and increase the focus on the positivity, because that's the way you want to live as much as you can, is to be positive whenever you can. So that's we hope that with this practice that you can move toward that thing. First, the most important thing is to be in the present moment at the time it's happening, and that's called mindfulness, and we know a lot about that and how the value of it. And now, after you're mindful in the present moment, then be aware of, am I feeling positive or negative, and as much as possible, go for increasing the positive feelings, and don't try to keep yourself from being too negative, yeah, and on what's in the present moment. So that's kind of what I think we're trying to do. It's a pretty complicated process. It's not going to something you just learn tomorrow and get better at it. You have to keep working at it. And I think that's what we're trying to say here, is that you keep doing it. First, most important, be in the present, and then be aware of the positive or negative feelings, and try to be, as whenever possible, try to increase the amount of positivity that you're paying attention to it all the time. So I think that's one way to put it. And it's a pretty complicated process. It's not something 1, 2, 3 that you can just learn and go out and do the rest of your life. You have to work at it for maybe a long time. But we want you to try to keep working on it for the rest of your life, because actually you want the rest of your life to be as much positive as possible. Yeah, and so you have to keep working on it.
So Gerald, on this last point, pay attention to how present focused awareness influences your feelings. We had the example in the last recording of you making a very conscious breakfast. And
Yeah.
if I just asked you, how were you feeling as you were being aware of making the breakfast, what would you say?
Well, I was feeling, in retrospect, I was feeling good doing that. Especially I was on kind of a roll. I was more focused attention on the present than I usually am, and that really felt good. And I just want to do that as much as I can.
Okay, great. So our speculation is that there's something about being present focused that
Yeah.
has its own inherent
Oh
good
yeah,
feeling.
it,
But we
it's
don't want to promise anybody anything, but we just want people to pay
yeah,
attention to how it feels,
yeah, and
right?
it'll be worth the effort if you can increase the positivity while you do this. But the most important thing is to be present whenever you can at the present moment. Don't be thinking about things in the past and the future, and that sort of thing. And then gradually work to increase the positivity.